worried that such a development has threatened the peace and security in the area and neighboring states of Adamawa, Taraba, Benue, and has negatively impacted on the food sufficiency because farming and other economic activities have been affected negatively. Concerned that the cattle routes have been encroached upon by the newly very beautiful project of Muhammad Buhari Industrial Park on the same route. We're also worried that with the upcoming harvest season, a occurrence will continue if nothing tangible is done in terms of urgent intervention. Also concerned that the socio-economic development, security, and general well-being of the populace are so dear and paramount to us. In the view of that, Mr. Speaker, sir, my fellow colleagues, I am coming up with one single prayer that the House,
Honorable Wale, please approach the chair.
Do set up an ad hoc committee to interface with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development and Federal Ministry of Water Resources, Gombe State Government and relevant stakeholders with the view to finding a lasting solution to the recurring clashes between farmers and herders in Yamatu Deba and neighboring local government areas and states. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you off your phone? Any seconder to this
motion?
Move,
Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Seconder.
Can I have the gentleman from Port Harcourt?
The right, Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Kelechi Nwogu, representing the good people of Echie Omoma Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Rivers State.
Honorable Gadi, please approach the chair.
I'm from Rivers State, the treasure base of the nation. I hereby second the motion moved by my colleagues. I so second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. Any amendment to this motion? The gentleman at the back with the red cap. Any amendment from those upstairs?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, fellow colleagues, my name remains Honorable Engineer Dominic Okafor, FNSC. I represent Agota Federal Constituency in Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, my amendment is that this prayer should include all other locations in Nigeria where these issues of herders and farmers clashes are involved, because this is a very recurring issue all over the country, including in my own state, Anambra State. Thank you.
Any seconder to that amendment?
Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, I want to look at upstairs. Any seconder from upstairs?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, my name's...
Mr. Speaker, point of order.
Are you seconding or are you amending? Any seconding?
I'm seconding that motion, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order. Wait, let this motion be seconded and then we'll come to you, please. Go ahead to second upstairs.
Yeah, thank you very
Your mic is not on. Try and put it on.
Yes. It's just tripping off. Okay, it's all right. Okay. Mr. Speaker, my names are Ben Etana Bene. I'm from Okpe, Saple, and Uwe Federal Constituency of Delta State. I move to second that motion made by the last speaker, that the 359 of us, if we have to present bills on motions on insecurity, I'm sure we all, have complaints to make.
Excuse me, are you seconding the motion that has been made as an amendment? I think you are raising a new issue. Thank you, honorable member. Any seconder to this motion? Let me see this gentleman at the aisle. Down. Yeah, come, wearing white.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Abdul Hakim Kamilo Ado, member representing Udilgarko Federal Constituency. I rise to second the amendment made by my colleague. I so second, looking at the recurrence of this issue in different parts of this country, recently in Benue and some part of Kano State. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah. Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of that amendment that have been moved and seconded, say aye. Aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Any other amendment? Let's give another chance to those upstairs. Any amendment from upstairs? None. Honorable Chinedu, let's hear your amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Comrade Chinedu Oga OM, member representing Ikwo Ezasa Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker, from Ebonyi State. Mr. Speaker, my amendment is on the prayer. In trying to get this security problem solved, you cannot solve security problem not getting the people that is in that community involved. That it should include the town union, the village head, the councillors, and the community involved for us to resolve this problem of herders and the banditry in our farming system. That is the amendment, Mr. Speaker. I hereby move.
Any seconder to this amendment?
Yes.
The gentleman with the black cap behind you that is turning back.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I remain Dr. Midala Usman Balami. I represent the good people and dynamic people of Askira Uba Howell Federal Constituency. I'm from Borno State, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the amendment as moved by my colleague. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this amendment, having been moved and seconded, say aye. Aye. Those against it, say nay. The ayes have it. Those in support of the motion as moved and amended, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the relevant committee once constituted. Honorable colleagues, the third order of the day is a motion on need to address the erosion in Abobri, Ayam, Otuobi, Ologi, and Okiki community in Obai Federal Constituency of Bayelsa State. Standing in the name of Honorable Maitema Obudo. Honorable Obudo, if you are in the house, you are invited to move the motion.
Thank you. Right Honorable Mr. Speaker, revered colleagues, I am Honorable Chief Mitema Obodo, representing all the characters of the inhabitants of Ogbia Federal Constituency. I am from Bayelsa State. Mr. Speaker, my motion is on the need to address the erosion problem affecting Abobri, Anyama, Otuabe, Ologi, and Okeke communities in Ogbia Federal Constituency of Bayelsa State. The House notes that over 60% of communities in Ogbia Federal Constituency of Bayelsa State are situated along the coastal belt, which are prone to erosion threats. The worst affected are Bobri, Anyama, Otuabe, Ologi, and Okeke communities, all of Ogbia Federal Constituency. Also notes that the coastal erosion is gradually washing away private and public buildings, resulting in the loss of properties worth millions of naira. Worried that due to the menace, the inhabitants of the affected communities are in grave danger, as many have been rendered homeless, economic and commercial activities grounded, many displaced, and ancestral homes and graves wiped away. Also worried, Mr. Speaker, that the entire existence of the residents of the communities are greatly threatened. Concerned that victims are forcefully migrating to seek refuge in strange lands, thus exposing them to untold hardship, poverty, and unavoidable conflicts. Mr. Speaker, I humbly urge the House to resolve, 1, to urge the Ministry of Environment, the Ecological Funds, Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, and other relevant agencies to take steps at mitigating the erosion problem affecting these communities by dredging, piling, and coming up with shoreline protection projects. 2, also urge the National Emergency Agency, NEMA, to provide immediate relief materials to ameliorate the sufferings of the people. And 3, mandate the Committees on Environment, Ecological Funds, Niger Delta Ministry, and Niger Delta Development Commission, and disaster preparedness when constituted to ensure compliance. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, this motion has been moved. I would like to know if there is any seconder to this motion. I want to give opportunity to those who are sitting upstairs. The man with the red cap and white clothes. Can we hear you? The Kwakwansia.
Mr. Speaker, my names are Mukhtar Umar Zakari from Taroni Federal Constituency. I so second the motion moved by my colleague from Bayelsa State. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable colleagues. The motion has been moved. This motion has been seconded. It is time to put the question because, as you know, this is a disaster-related motion. And unless there is any amendment to this, I wouldn't want you to water down this particular motion. I will take only two amendments. Please off your microphone if your microphone is on. Honorable Nkwanta, let's see your amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Chris Nkwanta, and I represent the good people of Okwa East and Okwa West Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, the issue of erosion in Nigeria has become a recurring decimal. Before we went on recess, issues to do with erosion in various parts of Nigeria were raised.
Honorable Nkwanta, are you debating or amending? There are two different things.
I'm amending.
So go straight. Is it on the prayers?
Yes. My amendment is that we should, there's need for us to have a holistic, a comprehensive view of the issue of erosion, not just in Bayelsa, in every part of...
Which prayer are you amending, sir?
Well, my amendment will have to do with the fact that the Ministry of Environment, that's prayer number one, to look at it holistically, because this issue came up the last time before we went on recess, so that possibly look at it in a more comprehensive manner to include every part of the country.
Honorable, the amendment is a bit ambiguous, what you are presenting. Let us know specifically what you want to amend in specific times. Is that you are amending the prayer that is there, or you are adding to the prayer?
I am adding, actually. I'm adding, Mr. Speaker. I am adding.
So what are you adding? Go ahead.
I'm adding that there is need for us to have a holistic view of the issue of erosion, not just in Bayelsa, in every part of the country.
There is an amendment by Honorable Chris Nkwanta. Please sit down and off your microphone. Those in support of this, is anybody seconding the amendment? Yes, any seconder to the amendment?
Mr. Speaker, upstairs.
I will ask you questions when you want to second to know whether you know what you are seconding.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Upstairs. In the spirit of gender balance, I want the honorable member, the lady sitting beside Honorable Chinedu, to please second the motion. But let us know if you understand what he moved.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, sir, my name is Blessed Namade, representing Port Harcourt 2, River State. I want to support the amendment by my colleague that River State should be added to that problem, because most people have vacated from their state.
All right. In the spirit of encouraging honorable members, please, let's allow the lady to be heard. Honorable member, the lady, please stand up again and go for this seconding.
Leave the woman to stay
properly. We are patient to listen to you.
I hereby rise to second the motion.
Tell us your name, ma'am.
My name is Blessing Chigera Amade, representing Port Harcourt 2, River State. I hereby stand to second the motion by my colleague on addressing all the amendments addressing the erosion problems in Nigeria. I so support.
Thank you. Thank you. It's in the spirit of encouraging new members to feel confident in doing their job. That is why we'll give you time to learn as we proceed. You are learning on the job. We are proud of you, madam. And let's throw the question now. Those in support of the amendment that have been made and seconded, say aye.
Aye.
Those against it, say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members, there is a
Now, so the time when that comes this one. I don't know.
Other papers present today in hard copy. I've been informed that if you go to your screen and click on document, you will see the standing order of the House 2019 to 2023. You will see Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999. You will see order paper 5th July 2023. It is a good alternative if you can click on it instead of waiting for the hard copy. You can click on that and make use of that to follow our engagement today. So the other paper is before your screen now. Like I promised, we were doing something to sort it out. I'm sure we have it now, and it's even a better approach to our engagement. Thank you, the Secretariat, for making this happen.
No.
Point of order.
Honorable colleagues, like I said before, this is a disaster-related motion. So I wish to put the question. Those in support of the motion as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Those against it, say nay. The ayes have it. The motion is referred to the Committees on Environment, Ecological Fund, Niger Delta Ministry, Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, and Emergency and Disaster Preparedness when constituted. Please, clerk, take note. Honorable colleagues, the fourth order of the day is a motion on the need to address the incessant killings and kidnapping by herdsmen and bandits in Ose, local government area of Ondo State, standing in the name of our own Honorable Timihin Adelegbe. Honorable Adelegbe is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Timihin Adelegbe. I represent our Ose Federal Constituency from Ondo State. My motion is on the need to address the incessant killing and kidnapping by herdsmen and bandits in Ose local government area of Ondo State. The House notes the persistent killing and kidnapping of innocent citizens of Ijagba, Imoru, Molege, Arimugidya, Ute, and Ukulise Aziz in Ose local government area by herdsmen and bandits, who have kept the communities in the perpetual siege and bondage, leading to quantum loss of lives, properties, and farmland. Also note that in the last 2 years, over 50 innocent lives have been lost, with several kidnapped unaccounted for, including the recent killing of Mr. Isaac Ohimerin and his son, Solomon Ohimerin. While his father was murdered, the son was released after payment of 400,000 ransom. Recall that in the same local government, one of the foremost traditional rulers of the state, the late Oba Israel Adeusi, the Olufon of the Fon, was shot dead while returning from a function in the state capital on 26 November 2020. Also recall that Mr. Bola Adelegbe, my old brother, a former chairman of the local government, since he's kidnapped on 23rd April 2023 on the same route, had not been released despite payment of substantial amount of his ransom. Aware that the bandits and herdsmen are still operating unhindered from the forest reserve spanning almost 10 kilometers behind Okeluse, where they have converted to their permanent base to perpetrate their heinous crime against those innocent communities. The House observes that members of the communities, who are mostly farmers, have been denied access to farms and means of livelihood due to the persistent attacks by herdsmen. Conscious that ensuring security and welfare of the people is the primary purpose of government under Section 14, Subsection 2 and B of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 Constitution as amended. The House resolves to urge the federal government to set up a well-equipped and properly motivated joint security task force to curb the Okeluse Forest Reserve to address this menace once and for all. Also urge the Inspector General of Police to urgently dispatch enough personnel to the troubled communities to keep the herdsmen at bay and to take over the investigation on the whereabouts of my junior brother, Mr. Bola Adilegbe, the kidnapped former local government chairman of Ose local government, who had not been seen hitherto. Further urge the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to, as a matter of urgency, send relief materials to the affected communities that were not able to access their farmlands. Mandate the Committee on Legislative Compliance and National Security and Intelligence were constituted to ensure compliance. I so move. Thank you.
Any seconder to this motion? I want to give opportunity to those upstairs. The man wearing blue and raising your hand in the middle, please give us a second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Yusuf Kure Baraje, member representing the good people of Boso Paikoro of Niger State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague on the menace of the banditry attacks, incident attack in the people, some people in Ondo State, and I so succumb.
I think this is a straightforward motion that does not need so much debate on it. Unless, honorable colleague, do you have anything to say outside what you have presented? Do you want to lead the debate? Okay.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker.
The motion on the need to address the incessant killing and kidnapping by herdsmen.
Not, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I think the motion is very straightforward.
Yeah, it's very. I think I got that.
Mr. Speaker.
The motion on the need to address the incessant killing and kidnapping by herdsmen and bandits in Ose local government area of Ondo State, moved by Honorable Timehin Adilegbe, has been moved and seconded. And I would like to put the question. Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on National Security and Intelligence and Committee on National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, when constituted. Honorable colleagues, the fifth order of the day is a motion on the need to investigate federal ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs, parastatals and tertiary institutions on mismanagement of personnel recruitment, employment, racketeering, and gross mismanagement of the integrated payroll and personnel information system known as IPPIS, standing in the name of our own Honorable Oluwole Oke. Honorable Oke is invited to move the motion. Honorable Oke, if you are here.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My dear colleagues, with your kind permission, may I move, and I so move, Mr. Speaker, on the need to investigate.
Please, those in charge of the microphone, raise it. They want to hear Honorable Oke. Speaking to the mic, Honorable Oke.
Federal ministries, departments and agencies, parastatals, and tertiary institutions on management of personnel recruitment, employment racketeering, and gross mismanagement of the integrated payroll and personnel information system. That the House notes that the federal government of Nigeria has numerous ministries, departments, agencies, parastatals, institutions And currently, these public bodies represent the biggest employers of labor in Nigeria. Also note that the overhead of these public institutions constitutes a major component in the budget of the federal government of Nigeria. Hence, employment in the federal public service has historically been a channel through which the federal government makes social interventions, stabilizes society, reduces poverty, and increases its access to all parts of Nigeria. This therefore underscores the essence and the importance of managing the process of recruitment and payment of civil servants and public officers. The House recalls that notwithstanding this year's sacred role being played by the federal government of Nigeria, the process of recruiting and employment into the civil service has become one that is fraught with endemic corruption. Public institutions have since stopped the process of advertising for jobs and vacancies. Even in the few instances, Mr. Speaker, where adverts are published, the slots are already commoditized and available for the highest bidders. In other words, most public institutions now sell employment positions, Mr. Speaker, notwithstanding the qualification of the applicant and the ability of the applicant to perform optimally on the job. Further notes, Mr. Speaker, that this poses a major risk and has indeed constituted itself into a channel for the underperformance of Nigerian public service. Historically, and specifically, sir, since 1960 to the 1990s, Nigeria boasted of one of the best crop of public servants in the world, and service delivery was at the highest level of professionalism. However, this situation has since changed, largely because of the method of recruitment and the quality of recruitment into these public institutions, which is driven by fraud, abuse, corruption, and peculiar considerations. The House observes that despite this decay occasioned by the above, the federal government has tried to address these abuses within the system, particularly the menace of ghost workers, which necessitated the induction of the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System, IPPS, to help fish out the large number of ghost workers. The House also observed that the introduction of these reforms, most ministries, departments, and agencies in collusion with the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation and the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, have devised methods to insert ghost workers and get payments through backdoor channels. They have also crafted methods that are being used to circumvent the BVN technology. This state of affairs is costing the federal government of Nigeria billions of naira monthly in salary payments to ghost workers and illegal payments to several civil servants across cadres. Worried that as things stand now, the federal government is not getting value for money. Rather, it is losing both in quality, quantity, and substance across the recruitment and payment of personnel. Even more worrisome is that some staff members that have been legitimately employed have not received salaries for months and years, despite the fact that they were recruited legally into the federal civil service. Concerned that if urgent steps are not taken to investigate these issues, the morale of civil servants will be completely dampened. The federal government will continue to lose billions in payments, in monthly payments to ghost workers, and illegal payments, and the nation will continue to bleed, to be serviced by unqualified workers, trooping into various sectors within the federal civil service. The House therefore resolves to set up another committee to investigate the various MDAs, parastatals, and tertiary institutions concerning the above issues and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative actions. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Our own Oluweloke, Honorable, one of the senior members of this House. This is a beautiful motion that needs a beautiful seconding. We've given some opportunities to those upstairs. Let us give some downstairs here.
Here. Front.
Those who want to second it. The gentleman who stood up now, the ranking member, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ali Adeyemi Taufik is my name. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my senior colleague, Honorable Oluwole Oke. Mr. Speaker, I so second. Thank you.
Thank you, most distinguished colleague, for seconding this beautiful motion that will help our nation move forward. Those in support of this motion say aye.
Amendment. Amendment. An amendment.
Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Amendment.
An amendment.
I don't think there is much to add to this motion unless there's anybody.
Yes.
We have amendment.
Yes. There's something to add. Upstairs. Amendment.
Please don't use your microphone until you are recognized, so that will be orderly. The gavel has gone down, and this motion involves an ad hoc committee. It's asking for an ad hoc committee to be formed. And this ad hoc committee will be formed today, but it will be a representative ad hoc committee that will involve at least one member from each state of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to give people that spread, to give the motion implementation that spread, and also our members that inclusion. So this motion having been moved and seconded, the gavel has gone down, is hereby referred to ad hoc committee when constituted. Before the end of this sitting, I will announce the members of this ad hoc committee.
Amendment, please.
Amendment, please.
Honorable colleagues,
amendment, please.
The sixth order of the day is a motion on the need to roll out measures to cushion the effect of fuel subsidy.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Removal on the citizen. Let me repeat so that you hear clearly. The sixth order of the day is a motion on the need to roll out measures to cushion the effect of fuel subsidy removal on the citizens. And this is standing in the name of our very own most distinguished colleague, Honorable Bamidele Salam. If Honorable Salam is in the house, he is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Bamidele Salam. I represent Eden North.
Excuse me, off your mic if you are not recognized so that we can hear him. And Honorable Salam speaking to the mic.
Mr.
Again,
Speaker,
those who are handling the microphone, raise the volume so that members' voices will be heard when speaking.
Mr. Speaker, Bamidele Salam, Eden North, Eden South, Egbedo Region, Federal Constituency of Osun State. Mr. Speaker, I want to please ask for the leave of the House. I have been rightly advised by the Deputy Minority Leader
that there has been a motion with the same substance and prayers which was passed by this same 10th Assembly on the 15th of June 2023. The Deputy Minority Leader pointed my attention to that earlier today, and so because of that, Mr. Speaker, I want to beg for the leave of the House to step down this motion pending further consultation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, most distinguished colleague, Honorable Salam, for listening to the opinion of the minority leader. And this is why it is important to have an experienced minority leader who is also involved in researching. So this motion on the need to roll out measures to cushion the effect of fuel subsidy removal on the citizens, which was standing on your name, is hereby stepped down. Honorable colleagues, the seventh order of the day is a motion on the demarcation and the ceding of PLENARY and Biajua communities in Boki local government area in Cross River State of Nigeria through Pillar 113A to the Republic of Cameroon, standing in the name of Honorable Victor Bisong Abang and 7 other honorable members. Honorable Abang, if you are in the House, you are invited to move this motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Victor Abang. I represent the people of Ikom and Boki in Cross River State. I move this motion together with all the 7 or 8 honorable members from Cross River State as co-sponsors. The House notes that on October 10, 2002, the International Court of Justice ruled that the proprietorship of the Bakassi Peninsula belongs to Cameroon due to an agreement between the governments of Nigeria and Cameroon during the Civil War. Also notes that in July 2012, the Supreme Court ruled that the Cross River State had no right to ownership of over 76 oil wells due to the loss of East Littoral status when portions of the peninsula were ceded to Cameroon by the federal government of Nigeria. The Apex Court stated that the Cross River State no longer had maritime territory and consequently could not claim offshore oil wells. Further notes that the ICJ ruling decides the retracing of the Cameroon-Nigeria international boundary line from the Lake Chad region, Yola, to the Atlantic Ocean, Bakassi. Subsequently, the United Nations set up 2 committees to implement the judgment, which led to the establishment of the Cameroonian-Nigerian Mixed Commission, made up of representatives from Nigeria and Cameroon and officials of the United Nations. Aware that the Nigerian delegation was led by the Attorney General of the Federation, while Cameroon was represented by the Deputy Prime Minister. Also aware that the field work, which involved the location of the boundary points and placement of boundary pillars by the judgment, was undertaken by a joint technical committee, a sub-body of the Cameroon-Nigerian Mixed Commission with both countries. Representative on the JTT, while technical expertise is supplied by a foreign contractor and paid by the CNMC. Cognizant that the field exercise or demarcation conducted by the JTT must be an adopted demarcation in any sector considered and valid conclusive by the CNMC. Also cognizant that according to the Anglo-German agreement of the Cameroon-Nigerian boundary of 12 April 1913, a total of 14 boundary pillars from the Lake Chad region, that is in Yola, Adamawa State, to Agbokom in a Tung local government of Cross River State, planted by the Anglo-German, has serial numbers written on the pillars. 6 of the boundary pillars fall within the Danare community in Boki local government of Cross River State. The international boundary includes pillar 109 to pillar 113A. Further notes that the Anglo-German treaty clearly states that the contextual pillar 113A is 9.6 kilometers from pillar 113 into the forest, leading to pillar 114 that fall in Agbokom in a Tung local government. I am worried that the JTT has not located pillar 113A and not tracing pillar 113A. They are planning to adopt a straight line method which will lead to losing Danare and Biada communities and about 7,000 to 10,000 hectares of land in Boki local government of Cross River State to the Republic of Cameroon. Also notes that the ICJ judgment adopted the Anglo-German boundary of 1913 as a boundary between the two countries. The job of the CMCC through the JTT, therefore, was to locate this boundary and reinforce it to certainty. Under the principles of federalism, natural justice, and equity, the federal government has a responsibility to protect the territorial integrity of all federating units and not unilaterally cede, sell, mortgage, or allocate any part of federating unit to another country without the consent of this House. We are worried that the lack of consent efforts by the JTT to trace a critical point that will determine the correct boundary line has generated controversy. It is a worrisome situation that even when the team understands they are lacking in the assignment because a critical pillar is yet to be retraced, instead of the team going back and doing the needful, they decided to propose a straight line projection to close the gap between pillar 113 and 114. Also worried that if urgent actions are not taken by the federal government, the entire country will lose the good people of Danare, Biadra in Boki local government, and some parts of Obanliku, LG of Cross River State to the Republic of Cameroon. Then concerned that the Cross River State may lose the good people of Danare and Biadra communities in Boki LGA and their ancestral heritage of land that they have protected all their lives to the Republic of Cameroon against their wishes and desires. Also concerned that the Pincing Pillar 113A may have been deliberately removed by the Cameroonian government in their plot to take over the land and the people of Danare and Biadra communities. That if a country like Nigeria keeps losing her people, lands, and natural and mineral resources to her neighboring countries, one day we may not have a place called Nigeria. Resolve to, 1, urge the Cameroon-Nigerian Mixed Commission to respect the Anglo-German Agreement of 1913 as adopted by the International Court of Justice by tracing and maintaining the original location of Pillar 113A in the forest. Invite the Director General of the National Boundary Commission and Surveyor General of the Federation to answer why Pillar 113A has not been found. Set up an ad hoc committee to investigate and assess the case of potential land encroachment by the Cameroonian government and consult with legal experts, land surveyors, and other relevant professionals